Hey everyone, Josh here in a rare rotation on editing duties this week. Back at the end of November, we set up a voicemail box and asked our subscribers on Patreon to let us know what the show has meant for them this year. I took those voicemails, pulled the clips you most wanted to hear, plus a few favorites of my own, and put it all together. If you're a longtime listener, I hope you enjoy this trip down memory lane. And if you're new here, enjoy the bits. Good luck.
So many possible worlds, but we got this one. So many possible worlds, but we got this one.
Thanks for calling the Worst of All Possible hotline. Please leave a message, including your name and your story. Thanks.
Hi, Worst of All Possible Worlds podcast. My name is Aisha, and I've been listening since kind of towards the beginning, and I don't really have a specific moment in mind. I just wanted to say that I didn't know that I had as much religious trauma to unpack until I started listening to your show, and now I do, but that's good. I love to unpack trauma, so I really appreciate that everything you guys are doing, and keep it up. Happy New Year. Bye.
I'm gonna.
So yes, Connie touches the cloak.
Yeah, let's hear it. Yeah.
No, suddenly I'm beginning to feel very warm.
Oh, Connie.
No, really, Whit. I think it's because of this cloth.
I think it's because you're leaning up against the hot plate.
Oh!
Now, here.
Oh,
I'm
God!
going to take the cloth before you hurt yourself.
Ba-dum-bum.
And then she touches it again, and she comes.
Wow.
It's just like everyone in town is really wanting to whiff what is apparently just Jesus's taint holder, and I don't.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, I'm sorry, AJ. I just.
Yeah.
Do
Go on.
have you encountered someone in your life who needs their taint to be held?
Yeah, I mean, it's just flopping all around down there. You know, you gotta have some way to support it.
A floppy taint?
Yeah, this is a
taint?
problem. Everyone has a floppy taint, right? This is a problem everyone has.
Can our guest weigh in on this? Nate, what do you think?
I mean, I don't think I would wear a robe if I wanted to keep my floppy taint held. I think there's other
You want it
garments.
flopping around in the breeze if you wear a robe.
If you're like,
yeah.
I want it to flop.
Okay.
I want the breeze on my long, low taint. Okay, so robe is what I'm going for.
Yeah, no, it's slapping between your knees like a pendulum.
Here's my issue, Nate. You took issue with this, with the taint situation, but your problem was just about robes. My angle from this, maybe this is upbringing, I don't know, the taint is what stands out to me.
Mine isn't personally floppy. I only speaking for myself.
Well, neither of you are
it's
wearing
quite-
robes. So
Yeah.
obviously they're not going to be
Yeah, yours
flopping
is
around.
very, very fully supported. Yeah. Otherwise, it's bapping between your knees like Pong. You know.
Right.
I don't. It's not. It's not though. I'm pretty certain. It's quite firm. It's
No, I think Nate and
wrapped
I are
up
in
in there.
agreement. You have the weird taint here.
Okay.
To quote a famous episode of Mr. Show, it's insane this guy's taint.
Hi, babes. My name is Cody. I live in Chicago, and I just wanted to say how delightful Whit's Endless Summer has been to me this last year as somebody who grew up as an evangelical Baptist and is now, like, gay and transsexual and a leftist. I still have, like, a morbid fascination with sort of the politics that I grew up around and in. And Whit's Endless Summer and, like, y'all's coverage of Adventures in Odyssey has been so cool to, like, listen to clips and have, like, you know, that deep brain memory of, like, oh, I've heard this before, but I was 10 or 12 and listening to a CD on a boombox and didn't really understand what was happening during, like, the abortion episode and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been cool, like, realizing that, like, this thing that sometimes I'll reference around my friends and nobody ever knows what I'm talking about, there are people who know what I'm talking about. And it's also cool to know that, like, Eugene Meltzner is still, I think, one of the greatest characters ever written. I still get an absolute kick out of him. But yeah, it has been so cool listening to you all over this year, and I hope you have a great 2023.
This episode makes very, very clear
Jesus.
that Whit is not just wealthy, he's also connected.
There's this huge, like, sort of contradictory thing about him, right? Because he says at one point, why would somebody burgle me? I don't have anything anyone would want to steal. And it's like, he is simultaneously this rich...
You have a laptop in 1991.
Yeah, he's like this rich, like, land-owning gentry class who's also just like, I'm just a simple country folk. And it's like, no, you're not. You work for the DOD.
Which
like, you're a weapons manufacturer.
Speaks very well to the evangelical identity too.
Right.
Like, oh, I'm just a simple little country boy.
The base model.
I don't know what that was. That was like a Pinky thing.
Hello,
it just changed halfway through.
just a little country boy.
Just a boy.
I'm so tiny. Somebody pick me up and put me in a pocket.
God damn it. Just to be very clear about this, I wanted to let you guys know. Again, the PowerBook 100, the first mass market laptop, was created by Apple and released to consumers in October of 1991 for the retail price of $2,500 United States dollars.
That's a lot of money.
That's for the base model, and that is real goddamn money.
That's like $5,000 in today's money.
Yeah, like $4,800. So it had a 9-inch monochrome LCD panel.
Okay.
You could have 2 megabytes of random access memory. Sure. Which could be expandable up to 8, a whopping 8 megs of RAM.
Oh, tell me more about that RAM.
Ran a Motorola 68,000 processor, came with a 20 megabyte hard drive, 5.1 pounds.
Oh, that's too big for me, the tiniest country boy.
Damn it.
I could never even lift up the lid. I'm so tiny, but I could jump on the keys one at a time. Oh, look at me go, writing a whole novel with my feet.
It's the new guy.
This is the newest guy. He's the smallest little guy. Did you know Ulysses was originally smuggled into the United States over the Great Lakes? It first appeared in Chicago. I wouldn't know, though. That book is too big for me. The tiniest country boy.
So this episode of Adventures in Odyssey then wraps up with...
I love that you can bring in the James Joyce facts.
It's very nice.
That's all I got.
Yo, this is Rosie Armstrong, and my favorite part of the show was subjecting y'all to watch Ain't No Safeway by Michael Sweet, which, by the way, after listening to Pamela Has a Problem, I'm pretty certain that that girl at the beginning of that music video who's offering the condom is the same voice actor as the one in the abortion clinic. But, you know, it's no big deal. It's all right. It's fine that I had to subject you to that shit. But seriously, though, guys, love that I've been able to use humor, and you guys have been able to give that gift of humor to me in order for a bunch of my own healing from my past and religious trauma. So thanks, y'all, for that. Okay, bye.
He also keeps insisting that there's no safe way anymore, as if there was once upon a time.
Look, once we got rid of sheep intestines, it went out the window. Leather satchels that you tie off behind your testicles.
Big oil, plastic.
Cloths that can support your supple taint. Is this maybe a reference to original sin? Like the idea being that once Adam and Eve sinned, that was when STDs also happened?
Right, because they could bang all the time in the garden and nothing would
they
happen.
fucked all the animals.
Right. Yeah, at least once.
They fucked the trees. You could actually fuck the tree. That's what got them in trouble. They were banging the tree, and then the serpent was like, hey.
Yeah, that's why they call it the tree of life. It sucks you off.
Oh, yeah.
Yay! We haven't done one of those in a while.
I know. I was saving one, but I had it in my brain, but I didn't know where to place it.
Hey, it's Aaron. I heard a sample of your Alan Wake episode while I was working in the Middle East over the summer, and I immediately knew I had to hear you do your Alan Wake voice for as long as I possibly could. I've been a huge fan ever since. I think your sketches are some of my very favorite work that you've done. And I guess it all comes together when it's specifically, I am obsessed with the average New Mexican man, and your sketch around that, like, has haunted me for months now. In particular, I find myself actively quoting saying, no man can be in 2 states at once. Love you, boys. Keep it up. I can't wait to see what other stuff you're going to piss me off with. Cheers.
Hi, worst of all possible lads. I'm the worst of all possible Maddies.
And I'm the worst of all possible Kevins. A moment we both had to immediately rewind and listen to again was AJ's metamorphosis from average New Mexican to average Texan.
Your ad spots do some serious overtime for a weekly podcast. We really don't know how you keep it up. It's a great podcast.
And it sucks you off.
Well, howdy, listeners. It's me, your average New Mexico man. Do you like the Southwest? Do you like your heat dry? Do you like chilies and wish they were in every food? Well, then you should also become an average New Mexico man. Enjoy all the perks of New Mexico, from its great red mesas to its vast sea of white gypsum sands. New Mexico is the perfect place to live. If you love answering questions about the hit AMC show Breaking Bad, did you know Bryan Cranston got that pizza on the roof in one take? Well, prepare to hear about it forever. So become an average New Mexico man today, so you too can drive on fractured remnants of Route 66 on your way to your job at the unmarked industrial complex, surrounded by nothing for miles. But when the time comes to turn onto the dirt road, you'll go right instead, taking the on-ramp to I-40. You'll just keep driving. You don't know why. Just that your foot has become lead and the speedometer keeps ticking up, and you'll drive and drive, swerving in and out of traffic. Today will be the day you think. Today will be the day you escape, and as you see the "Welcome to Texas" sign getting ever closer, tears will start pouring down your face. You've always been an average New Mexico man. Maybe now you'll be something more. An average multi-state person. But as you cross the threshold into Texas, your body will start convulsing. Your very being will start to unravel, come undone, split, until your old body will lie there like a cocoon left behind by a butterfly.
And in your place will be an average Texas man. You stupid man. You thought you could be in 2 states at once. But you will only ever be one thing.
So come marvel at the beauty of the natural world and keep an unconcealed firearm on you at all times, because you don't need a license to do so. An average New Mexico man. What are you gonna do? Live in Arizona?
Hi, my name is Bacon, and this is my first Worst of All Possible Worlds what's that thing called? I don't know, man. Fuck the Dutch. And so I'm filled with so much rage at the Dutch that my brain can't even process it. It's like I'm living in a reality where we're all controlled by the goddamn Dutch.
Hi, I'm Tove Zeiderveen, a very Dutch name. I am a trans woman living in East Michigan, but who, like Josh, grew up in a small town between Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids, Michigan, in a very conservative Baptist family. I found the show through Scott Benson's tweet on Castles and Cauldrons, and my family is so anti-occult that they wouldn't even let us listen to that show. But Odyssey was the show that we listened to as a kid. In fact, I was probably listening to The Mortal Coil as a 5-year-old when I became deathly afraid of hell and then converted to Christianity, which obviously I've deconverted since. So Odyssey is the kind of thing that not only informs, but it is the content and the background of my childhood. Listening to this show has helped me, or it's proved just how much of an unconscious influence that show had on who I was and how I developed. Most of the episodes that you listen to, I have very distinct audio memories that are reintroduced to my system whenever I listen to you talk about Odyssey. So it's a terrible show. It's also a very entertaining show. And it was used by people who wanted to brainwash their children into accepting the same lives that they did, and because they thought it was for the best. And it's very comforting to have people who understand what that was like and have come out of it in the same way that I have and are able to make jokes about it and re-experience those weird feelings and move past them and bury them. So I'm very grateful that the show exists and that I can laugh about how absurd John Avery Whitaker is or just all the weird, quirky things about Odyssey. I wish you all the success in the world with the show, and I can't wait for more fancy movie time. Good luck, you all. Thanks. Bye.
So Eugene experiences this.
What happened, Eugene?
It was the most horrifying thing I've ever experienced. I've never felt such loneliness or isolation. It was as though I were completely separated from everyone and everything, completely and thoroughly alone. Not like I was off by myself somewhere, but as though I were non-existent in a dark void of solitude. I was alone, Connie, utterly alone in a burning blackness, and I've had nothing but nightmares since then.
So the music is it kind of undercuts
it's a bit much. If they had no music under this, oh man.
Will Ryan's performance. I mean, imagine being a little kid and hearing this.
This is Josh time now. This episode traumatized me. This description of hell is one of the things that has stuck with me the most about sort of how I think about the eschatology of the afterlife, which isn't to say that I necessarily believe it anymore, but a part of my subconscious does and always will, because as a kid, I heard this. And the idea here is that the kids who are listening to this are already going to be Christian. So, you know, this is nothing that we would ever have to worry about. We're saved. We're going to go to heaven like Whit. We're not going to go to hell like Eugene. But boy, howdy, is this something terrifying to put into a kid's program. And I remember it thoroughly.
It's like how on this show, we talked about an old movie from the 70s called A Thief in the Night about the rapture and how it traumatized a whole swath of baby boomers who already believed in the Lord, worried that they were not going to get raptured and they were going to get stuck in this horrible apocalyptic world.
I know, right?
All left alone.
And it's funny, too, because if you see the movie, and how cheesy it is, you'll really be like, oh, boomers, because it's just so...
This was my Thief in the Night. Yeah, this was like... Because the idea of like hell is like, it's on fire.
Yeah.
This is so much worse.
Yeah, it's like, it's pretty bad.
Flames at a certain
but this
point.
is like, hey kids, you know how you feel when you're at Sears and your parents have accidentally like left you behind? What if it was that forever and then someone turned the lights off at Sears and then you could never leave Sears?
Yep. A Sears is certainly one type of hell.
Hello, the worst of all possible AJs, Brian's, and Josh's. This is Spencer Neil Campbell. I'm 23, and I am a patron, and keep that in. And I come from the beautiful country of Humboldt County, Northern California. Anyways, I discovered you guys last year back in September 2021. I'm a massive fan of Night in the Woods, and so I discovered you guys through Scott Benson in the Castles and Cauldrons episode, which is also how I discovered the horrifying world of Adventures in Odyssey. Jesus fucking Christ, that whole town is basically Redding, California, let's be real. But anyways, I came for the Scott Benson, I stayed for you three, and then I became a patron earlier this year, and I fucking love you guys. You guys kind of honestly make this massive fucked up country make some semblance of sense. Or not really, you're just kind of like a lifeline in a way where it's like, oh, everything's going to shit. Look at all this shit. Let's laugh at it. Because of that, one of my favorite episodes that I keep listening to is the Dear Evan Hansen episode, especially AJ's song right there. AJ, you're a beautiful singer. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And my favorite part of the show is actually from this ties in. It's the Kenneth Branagh Hamlet episode, and it's at timestamp 1 hour and 15 seconds. And Brian, I'm so sorry to bring this up to you again, but it's the train song. It's the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Anyways, you guys are amazing. Love the show. Love the guests. Love everything. Godspeed.
These men are actually not riding on a steam train. It is a diesel-powered train. And I found out, I was like, did they go to that rail yard from the Avengers? No.
Yeah.
This is on the grounds of that castle.
They just found that?
It was sitting there, so they decided to use it. So you know what? That's good. That's spontaneity.
That's really, Brian, that's actually really interesting because you texted me while watching the movie being like, are we going to talk about the train? And I said, why? And you said, that's my question. Why this train?
You had been watching special features, and I was like, did anyone mention the train? Because this is fucking weird.
Well, here's the thing.
They just show up on a tiny train.
It's really baffling to me because you've provided that explanation of they just found it on the grounds, and I actually found completely different intel about why they used the train. And it was because there was actually, believe it or not, a thing that Branagh cut from Hamlet, from this movie.
Okay.
It was a musical number, and it turns out that I found the lyrics to it, and I'd like to recreate it for you now, if I could. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, the bros of the railway train. There's a whisper down the line at 11:39 as Kenneth Branagh holds in a fart, saying, Rosen, where is Rosen? He's probably out there frozen on the tundra where the train won't start. And as for gentle Guildenstern, he'll just have to wait his turn, even though I consider him a mensch. 'Cause while Hamlet can't stop speaking, the two of us are sneaking round the parapet so we can French. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. I mean, you get it, right? Do you get the song?
No. You're fired.
I told you Cats
this
is coming
podcast
back.
Again.
I shot my shot. I set
Why
it up.
would I know a song from Cats? Hey there, you are listening to a preview of a premium episode of The Worst of All Possible Worlds. If you'd like to listen to the rest of this, head on over to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/worstofall. And you can listen to not only the rest of this episode, but our entire backlog of premium episodes, bonus episodes, and if you subscribe at the $10 tier, you will get an extra episode of the podcast every single month. Again, that is patreon.com/worstofall. Hope to see you there.